What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jasmine. Thank you for joining me. So, in today's video, I wanted to talk about spiritual warfare. Recently, there was an accident that happened in Brooklyn. I believe it was on Ocean Park Avenue. And unfortunately, there was a mother and her two children. They lost their lives. And they also had a little boy who ended up going to the hospital. And apparently, Daily Mail had published a picture of the lady who caused the accident. And apparently, she made a statement saying that she was possessed by the devil or covered by the devil or taken over by the devil, something to that effect. And I saw a lot of people in the comments saying, hey, people use that excuse a lot. Maybe it's because she doesn't want to go to prison. She's trying to um, avoid responsibility or accountability for what happened. And yeah, all that might be true. But I think there's something that people, especially this generation, refuse to acknowledge is that spiritual warfare is real. Spiritual warfare is a real thing. Let me say that again. Spiritual warfare is real. I'm going to give you an example from my personal life. I recently was in bed. I prayed before I went to bed, and there's also this YouTube prayer that I like to put when I'm sleeping through the night. And that night I was in bed and I saw it was my 5-year-old son standing in front of me, and he put his mouth in my ears and he started speaking in a language I've never heard in my life. And it was so, and I woke up from my sleep and I realized that my son was next to me in the bed. He was sleeping. And I realized what it was. I prayed and I said, Lord, whatever seed has been planted into my soul, whatever that evil spirit was trying to communicate into my mind, I rebuke it right now in the name of Jesus, and I'm asking you to remove it from me. And it, unless you've been through something like that, it's kind of hard to understand. That's why I pray for people that think it is a joke and want to play with spiritual warfare. When people have scientific term for, like, you know when spirit attack them at night, and we call it sleep paralysis. With night, when I have like a warfare prayer, or I feel like I was really into praying mode, and I would go to bed and the spirit would come to literally test me. I think at times they do it to test you, to let you know that, hey, it's true that you're praying, but we're still here, or whatever you did that night bothered me, so I'm letting you feel my presence. I've had an encounter to the point where I have to literally get out of my bed to um to pray, because it was so intense. It felt so real. I remember one night I was sleeping and I was laying on my face and I just felt something pressing me on the bed. It was like pressing me down. The weight was too much for me to bear. And all I could see in my mind, and I couldn't talk, I couldn't open my eyes, I couldn't, it felt so vivid, but at the same time, it felt so frightening and it felt so unreal because the weight I was feeling on me, I couldn't get up, I couldn't do anything. And all I could say in my mind was Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And after a while, the spirit kind of left. And I just felt this chill. The whole room was frozen. I was freezing. And most of the time I have these encounters, that's how I know it is spiritual warfare. Because usually after, it just felt like I am freezing. And I woke up, I prayed, and I went back to sleep. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it is so intense that I literally would wake up and start talking like, how dare you, like, coming to me, how dare you disrespect me, how dare you do something like that. I literally had, sometimes I'll speak to them to let them know, hey, I know it was you. I felt your presence. Like, don't you ever, ever do something like that to me again. And I don't understand why, especially the young generation, like the Gen Zs, they feel like it's not real. It is something that people are playing with, and and I just want to say, like, be careful, because we are truly living in the last days. As much as people say that to every generation, but I do believe we are definitely in the last days. And people like Bonnie Blue, that is going around breaking records, sleeping with 1,000 men in a day. People don't understand. It is not normal. If you have any kind of spiritual insight and you look at this lady in her eyes, nothing about her looks um natural. It is demonic. You have to be possessed by a demonic spirit or be animated by an evil spirit to put yourself through those kind of traumas. And what she's doing is that she's releasing that spirit in every man that actually partake in those things. And it's just sad. It's heartbroken. And I truly hope that God really have a revival, and a lot more people can open their eyes and see that what is going on is not normal. We are in spiritual warfare. This is spiritual warfare. I know people are expecting, physical wars to happen, just like we have Ukraine and Russia, we have Israel and Gaza. Like, who knows what other war will break very soon, but we are also in spiritual warfare, and I think people need to be aware. We need to be prayed up. We need to pray up for this generation. We need to pray that people's eyes may be open, because we are in spiritual warfare, and this is not something anybody should be playing with or taking lightly. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.